Hello, my name's Ray here and you're watching Moto NZ, and I'm going out for a ride on the Tenere 700 with some brand new tyres. But first, yeah, it was flat. Got a brand new battery in it. So one thing I've noticed after not riding this bike every single day is that it really doesn't like sitting for too long without a battery tender on it. I'm not sure what it is that's the parasitic draw on the battery, but yeah, no, it goes probably a week or two max from fully charged, and then it won't even start. So that's disappointing, but it is what it is. I got a battery tender for a reason. So we're now rolling on a set of Mitas tyres. These tyres used to be known as the EO 7 Plus. They're now the Enduro Trail Plus. Good solid adventure tyres. I've run these for actually quite a long time. I don't know what it is about my riding style, but I get a lot more Ks out of a set of tyres than most other people. I had a set of EO 7 Pluses not long after I first bought this bike, and they lasted like 10 to 15,000 K. Sure, they were pretty square by the time I'd done with them, because, you know, up and down the motorways. And that's probably what it is. Not racking up the rear tyre all that much, just up and down the motorway, doing what they do. Adventure tyres on tarmac, if you can get, you know, anything 6,000 K plus out of them, you're doing pretty well. So to get 10,000 K, 15,000 K, I was pretty impressed. So we're trying out the new ones. As far as I know, there's no difference in the tyre apart from the name. Enduro Trail Plus probably sticks in people's minds a little bit better, as opposed to EO 7 Plus, which is just a number and a letter, which probably doesn't mean an awful lot to anyone. You know, these are adventure tyres. They're not, you know, super courses or whatever you want to call them. They're not track tyres. So, although I can quite comfortably ride up a trail like this, up a road like this, I should say, I'm not getting a knee down, am I? I'm not trying to get a knee down. The whole idea is that you can ride from trail to trail. You can just ride straight off road onto the trail. You're not going to win any speed awards. It's about getting there. I haven't ridden this bike in so long. It's almost wasted. So let me tell you about these tyres. They've got a really hard sidewall, which does make them a challenge to get on and off if you're on the side of the road somewhere, but it also means you can run them at lower pressures without risking a pinch flat. So let's compare these tyres to the original tyres that came on this bike. The original tyres, Pirelli Rally Scorpion STRs. They're more of like an 80-20, 80% on-road, 20% off-road. They'll go off-road, and I've proven that they can handle off-road conditions, but they don't have the big gaps between the knobs. They handle beautifully on-road for an adventure tyre, but they lack a little bit off-road. You get them onto some slippery grass, they got bugger all grip. You get them into a mud hole or a bog hole, you're going to struggle. So although the Pirelli Scorpion Rally STR can do the job, I would much rather a more 50-50 tyre like the Mitas Enduro Trail Plus that I've got on here. They've got big block knobbies, quite a sharp corner on them, and then big space between them. So if you get yourself into some gravel or some river rocks, you've got a bit of something to grip on. If you get into the mud, they do pretty well. The place where you're probably going to struggle is rocky surfaces. Not loose rocks, but hard rocks, like sheetrock, because they're quite a hard tyre. Now, if you're going to go and do any road trips on these tyres, there's one thing you've got to remember, and that is that they are an adventure tyre. What do I mean by that? They're not a track tyre. They're not a rain tyre. They've got the big ventilation channels to get rid of the water on the surface water on the road. But There's a limit to what a tyre can do. Adventure riding, it's all about compromise, right? We are compromising. But you're compromising between road and dirt. Not a track tyre. It's going to be limited a little bit on hard, wet tarmac. But what you give up there, you make when you get off-road. Probably also a good idea to reevaluate our definitions of adventure. Because what I've noticed a lot lately, after a few years of Paul Tyres doing amazing things on one of these, and Chris Birch doing amazing things on the 890 and the 1290 adventure bikes from KTM. What is our definition of adventure? Because realistically, you can have adventure on a road bike. Adventure doesn't necessarily mean even going off-road. But realistically, adventure riding, yeah, getting off-road, that's fine. Gravel roads, not trail riding, not enduro riding. Gravel roads is essentially what adventure is. Your definition of adventure might be slightly different. But what I want to do is set realistic expectations for an adventure bike. What is the definition of adventure? What are most adventure bikes built to do? Ride through town, stop at the cafe, and then go out to some gravel road out some back of nowhere. That's fine. Maybe, some slight gravel, some slight more trail riding, but not enduro. They're not made specifically to hop over logs. That's what your Beta RR 300 and 300 race is for, right? These things, they're made to load up and go places. So let's just keep that in mind when we spout off on the internet about adventure bikes and what they're made to do. And yeah, you can make one of these do some pretty hard out enduro riding if you have the skill. That's not what it's designed to do. And this thing weighs the best part of 220 kgs with, all the bars and everything on it. An actual enduro bike weighs 110 or 100. Just keep that in mind when we talk about enduro riding, adventure riding. Tyres can do around town. How do they go on the motorway? Well, they're not overly noisy. They're nice and quiet. And, especially on a dry bit of tarmac, they provide decent feedback and grip. I've heard some tyres at 100 kilometers an hour absolutely singing that high-pitched that high-pitched whine that you get. Not from these. Absolutely not. Let's see how they go off-road. Now, bear in mind this is just hard-packed gravel. This is not exactly adventure riding, even by some people's definition. But these tyres, they're hard enough to have a bit of fun, yet they still have the big channels between the knobs to give you that grip. So, unless I'm trying to kick the tail out, generally, I'm going to get decent feedback and enough grip to dig myself out of a hole. Now, riverbeds would be about the extent of most people's adventure riding. There's not really much reason to come to riverbeds, is there? You might go across the occasional river, Molesworth, Rainbow, for example. But how do these tyres do down here? Well, I've got decent amounts of grip. I'm not digging massive holes. The weight of the bike is the thing that's really fighting me here. The tyres, they do fine. And that is why we have adventure bikes, right? We can go off-road, we can go around town, we can do the motorway, we can commute, we can have fun, and you need to make sure you got the right tyres for that. These tyres are an upgrade over the factories. I quite like them, I trust them, and I'm quite happy to recommend them to you. So yeah, Mitas, what used to be known as EO7 Plus, now known as Enduro Trail Plus. Great tyre. Really like it. Probably one of my go-to adventure tyres for a little bit more aggressive off-road riding. Good 50-50 tyre, good choice. And I get decent longevity out of these tyres as well. You want to know more? Go to motonz.com. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Do you agree? What tyres have you used on your adventure bike? Let me know in the comments below. Got any questions? Let me know and I'll try and answer them. Otherwise, keep the rubber side down, throttle on, and we'll catch you in the next one. Root root.